Assalamu alaikum. This is me, Muhammad Hasnain, once again with all of you people. Has this ever occurred to you that you're trying to learn something again and again, you're trying to cram that, you're trying to just learn it perhaps, and you just want to do it really fast and you're just in a hurry? It takes you like 4 hours instead of like the 10 minutes you were hoping for, and after like 10 minutes of like having or doing something else, suddenly everything's just forgotten and you're just back to level 1, and it's just it makes you super angry because you're like, oh my god, I wasted so much time on that and I can't do that again, because you're gonna forget again. So lots of students ask me how to learn a language fast, especially English. How to learn English fast and never forget. Lots of times people make some mistakes, and I'm going to tell you what things there are that will make you better at learning that language really fast and never forgetting that language or any part of that language. So without further ado, let's get back to the video. First of all, we are going to be talking about immersion techniques. Now, what are immersion techniques? Lots of times people just try to stay away from the language they're learning as much as possible, which is very wrong. Lots of times what students do is they fear, or they are thinking that it will take me a lot of brain power, those two brain cells fighting each other to get the third place. They think that if I use that certain language, one of those brain cells is going to be working on that, so I'm going to have one brain cell. Just joking. I don't want a fight starting in the comment section, but what I mean is, why are students fearful to immerse themselves with that? Lots of times a language seems intimidating at first when they're trying to learn that certain language, but with time that intimidation is turned into more frankness, and you're more frank with the language, you're more understanding of the language, and you're more comfortable with the language, which makes you better at speaking with that language. So we are going to be talking about immersion techniques. Number 1, we have surrounding yourself. Now, lots of times students are afraid to do so. What, you may ask? Well, thinking, doing and seeing English all the time. Now, they don't surround themselves with English enough that they would understand it. Lots of times, if you have seen a baby, doesn't know actually it doesn't has any birth language, because a baby doesn't speak a language. When a baby is born, whatever country, whatever place he is in, he learns that language because he has no other way to communicate rather than speaking that certain language. The same case goes for the people. For example, I've seen lots of illiterate people. They go to places such as England or other countries, and they, with time, because they have no other way of communicating, they learn the language of that certain place. Now, why does that happen? It happens only and only because of one reason. It is our natural instinct that when we are forced to learn something, our brain adapts to that. And this adaptability makes us the best and most powerful sentient creatures on the planet. Use English in your daily life as much as possible. Change your phone language. Lots of times people have that changed. But change your phone language to English. Listen to English music or watch English shows. What I want you to do is surround yourself by stuff that's all in English. You're gonna love that, because what the point here is that you're indirectly getting good content. First of all, I don't like Indian or Pakistani or Asian content. I'm not actually criticizing, but the point is, I'm not a big fan of such stuff. So what I prefer is English content over such stuff. Since lots of times there's clickbait, there's lots of other stuff. Even the news nowadays is clickbait. Like, I've seen news that's like clickbait, so I don't prefer that. I prefer international news over that, which is less clickbait and more of a reality than we normally have. Next up, we have speak often. Find a language partner or language exchange group. Speak daily and every single day, even if to yourself. Agar aap akele hain, if you're lonely, if you don't have anybody, and if you're single, and if you have no friends, no life, no nothing. Yeah, depression is quite high nowadays. But jokes apart, if you don't have anybody that understands the language, speak to yourself. Yeah, I know, they're gonna say, पागल हो गया है या ये अपने साथ क्या कर रहे हैं. When I was speaking English in the first place and learning these super weird words, like I was learning words that were pretty not used normally, some words that were quite rare to use. So I was thinking to myself, what would the other people think? And they were thinking that I was doing some incantations or I was reciting some kind of poem in English language. And they were even, some of them were thinking that I was doing some kind of ritual, because I was thinking like I was doing this and this and that, body language stuff. And they never see me do that in like normal language. I'm just sitting there speaking to them. And when I was doing that, they were thinking I'm doing some ritual. Don't worry, they're gonna call you weird, they're gonna call you mad, they're gonna call you you've lost your brain. You have lost your brain. But back to the point, find a partner or an exchange group where you can exchange your language, you can learn and you can exchange your vocabulary, you can exchange your tips and tricks from the masters and from the advanced students to the beginners that are on the different or same or higher or lower level than you are. So, coming back, you can either do that to yourself alone or you can do that with a partner or an exchange group. Next up, we have spaced repetitions. Now, I'm not going to be really going in depth about every single point. I'm just going to be explaining so that you guys understand better. Now, what is spaced repetitions? No explanation to that. Simple language, let's get into it. Flashcards. Use different apps. I'm not gonna say the names. You can use different apps that will help you make flashcards for your English language vocabulary. Maybe use physical flashcards. Paste them up on your wall. Paste them up. Don't do that if your father will get angry at you.